The 7-time African champions will not be lacking in motivation as they attempt to retain their title in the backyard of their arch rivals Egypt. The reigning champions lost to the Egyptians in the World Hockey League in July, and according to veteran goalkeeper Rassie Pieterse, the team is more focused on getting the job done than getting revenge next week.
Yeah, I think it's huge for us. First of all, we would like to go defend our title. You know, we've been looking after the Africa Cup now for many years. So that's the first job we want to do. And then obviously the main aim is we have to win to qualify for the World Cup next year. So, you know, if we don't do the job now, we've got no chance to go to the World Cup. So this is a very important tournament for us.
The squad selected for the tournament sees the return of several players who have been on the sidelines for some time. And for Pieterse, the added experience can only bode well for the rigours of the campaign.
I think the team that's been selected, you know, there's a couple of old-timers out there, Lance Lowe and Tommy Hammond that's back. That brings a lot of experience to the spine of the team. And I think that will help us a lot. I mean, these guys have played a couple of Africa Cups. They know what it's like. We know conditions are not easy. You know, we probably haven't travelled or toured Egypt probably since 2005, 2006. So for the majority of the players, it's going to be something new. So we need a bit of that experience.
Interim head coach Sheldon Roston feels that the standard of hockey on the continent has improved immensely, and explains that he expects a stern challenge from all the teams they come up against.
The quality of hockey that we're seeing now from Egypt, they're spending a lot of time investing quite a lot of finances in trying to improve themselves. So, you know, for us it's great, it's a challenge from someone that's on our own continent. And then some of the other teams, you know, will just go and park the bus and really make it difficult inside of the circle for us.
In a first for South African hockey, Sheldon Roston will coach both the men's and women's team at the Africa Cup of Nations in Egypt. The women have already qualified for the World Cup. It's now up to the men to exact some revenge on their Egyptian rivals and qualify for the sought-after tournament. Sias to Plessis, CGTN, Johannesburg.
For more on the Hockey Cup of Nations, we're joined by Celestine Karone live from Cairo. Celeste, when you look at the team's preparations, who are the favourites? Are we seeing South Africa emerging top again?
Well, Penina, some breaking news, if you like, out of the Africa Cup of Nations for hockey here in Cairo is that Zambia have been confirmed that they will not take part in this competition. The organizers have just confirmed that a couple of hours ago. And Penina, this really means that the Southern African team will be fined almost $2,400 and could face a ban. This is the second time they are failing to honor a commitment to compete at this level of the competition. Penina, this just shows you the kind of struggles and the problems that African teams face when it comes to funding hockey in the continent. For example, Kenya have just arrived a couple of hours ago in Cairo. They have to drive another 2 hours all the way to Ismalia, and they have a match tomorrow morning. So, Penina, when you look at such preparations, really, it just shows you that a team like South Africa is coming here to more or less pick the title and take it back home. Because this is a team that not only boasts the best infrastructure in the continent when it comes to hockey, it is also very well funded. And this funding allows them to play in the World League. As Sias reported there, the women's team has qualified for the World Cup through the World League, meaning that Africa will have 2 teams competing for the women in the World Cup next year because South Africa have qualified. And so this competing in the World League, Penina, gives them that exposure and makes them go a notch higher compared to their African counterparts, who barely, some of them even barely get to play one competition in a year as a national team when it comes really to the competition, because when there is no African championship, then they are not playing matches. So Penina, really, when you look at it, when you look at such preparations, then it really goes without saying that maybe South Africa are just coming to take home the title, the men going for an 8th title, the women going for a 7th title. But of course, Penina, there is hope that it will be a very, very competitive competition, Penina.
But Celestine, is the gap narrowing between South Africa and the rest of Africa?
Well, at least that much can be said for this particular competition, Penina, that yes, the gap is narrowing. When you look at South Africa has contested in both men and women, the last 6 of 4 for the women and the last 6 for men finals. You look at, they have faced Ghana, for example, in the women's front for the last 4 editions. The scoreline has reduced from being 6-1 victories to South Africa to 3-0 victories to South Africa. So that tells you that Ghana are actually doing something good. What we are told that the West African country has been doing is they partnered with a European country to help boost the game at home. And so this is showing. It is showing in the club front for Ghana. When they competed this year in Nairobi at the Africa Club Championships, their teams may not have won, but they did very well. So Penina, yes, the gap is narrowing. Egypt has also been closing the gap on South Africa's men's team. They have been contesting the finals against each other for at least 6 editions consecutively now. And yes, as well, the scoreline has been reducing, Penina. And they are hoping that as they host the competition for the first time in almost 30 or so years, Penina, that they can be able to deny South Africa on home soil. So yes, the gap is narrowing, and that is something the teams that are competing against South Africa in this competition will have to prove, Penina. All right, Celestine Karone live for us in Cairo. Celeste, I'm going to have to put you on hold for just a bit. I will come back to you.